I have a bug, so I'm gonna do the fist bump. I want to spread my germs, so.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Emma. Nice to meet you.
Just going to start with the rules. So each team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judges. I will hold up a sign for the last 10, 5, and 2 minutes, as well for the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate with my finger the number of seconds remaining. If you have not finished your presentation after 20 minutes, you will be stopped in order to proceed with the question and answer period. A question and answer period of a maximum of 5 minutes is allocated to the jury at the end of your presentation. Please note that at any time you cannot say or reference the name or the location of your university. I will now let the judges introduce themselves. You can start your presentation when they are finished.
Evangeline Plant, Group Human Resources Manager, Eastern Canada.
Michael Chan, Campus Recruiter, Eastern Canada.
Aziz Onima, professeur de gestion des ressources humaines de l'Université de Sherbrooke.
How does a widely successful American company that has established themselves as one of the top retail brands in their nation expand into a brand new market? Madame Plante, Monsieur Chen, and Mr. Rima, I'm sure as you're well aware, this is a particularly challenging task, especially when it comes to recruitment. Good morning, my name is Nagar, and I'm here with my fellow colleagues Brooke and Emily, and we are here from Infinity Consulting to present to you our winning strategy to ensure that Target is able to successfully recruit brand new and talented students for 2015. Starting off with our agenda today, we're going to be using the FACE model, starting with a focus, where we're going to take a look at your organizational goals and see how they align with the human resource objectives. From there, we're going to take it into an alignment where we're going to use some analytical tools to assess the current situation of Target before presenting to you our strategy in the consolidation, and finally wrapping it up with an evaluation where we're going to take a look at our strategy and see how it's going to optimize your company's success. I'm going to now pass it over to Emily for the focus.
So when looking at change, identifying objectives is essential to making decisions. So after taking a look at your case, what we've identified for your business goal today is to establish a supportive infrastructure which provides collaboration and development in pursuit of success. Now within that infrastructure, we have your human resource objectives, which is what we are going to be focusing on today, which is to create a strategy which helps you meet your current staffing needs, focusing more specifically on graduates and interns coming into your business, while focusing on planning for your future development. So, what we've divided today is there's a couple of human resource pillars that are standing between your organizational goal and your human resource objective. Today, what we'd like to focus on is recruitment and selection, compensation and total rewards, and finally training and development to bridge the gap between your organizational goal and your human resource objective. So I'm going to pass it off to my colleague Brooke to continue forward with the alignment in French.
Donc pour débuter, nous allons voir l'analyse de l'écart. Donc en ce moment, vous avez de 30 à 50 postes à combler dans votre organisation pour le juin. Donc nous voulons pouvoir avoir assez d'applicants pour bien doter ces positions. Aussi, vos stages sont non reconnus par des universités à cause de leur longueur. Donc nous voulons vraiment vous voir avoir un stage plus complexe de 12 semaines pour avoir une meilleure relation avec les universités au Québec et à l'Est du Canada. Aussi, la description du poste ne reflète pas vraiment le poste en tel, donc nous voulons vraiment vous voir développer votre description pour mieux avoir, pour que les applicants aient une meilleure connaissance du poste en tel. Nous allons maintenant continuer avec l'analyse de l'environnement.
All right, now we're going to take about a look at an environmental analysis of Target and the current situation, starting with what works really well for your organization currently. So right now, Target has very strong career advancement opportunities, and we'd really like to see you leverage this since you are targeting university students, and they particularly value this trait here. Next one to keep in mind, Target has very strong corporate social responsibility, and we really believe that this works well for your organization because highlighting this amazing trait is really going to work well to recruiting employees and new students to come work for your company. And finally, you do have a very strong brand recognition in Canada. You've done tremendously well in the States, and this is translated very well into Canada because you're already well known in this new market. Now, in terms of what does need a little bit of work, currently there are a large number of available positions that need to be filled in a very small amount of time. Therefore, our strategy is really going to be very rapid, and it's going to ensure that all of the positions are filled in time. Next, there is a certain issues regarding the eligibility among the students that are in the universities. So as you may be well aware, currently your internship program ranges for 10 weeks, whereas a lot of university students are looking for 12-week internships. Furthermore, you may have a lot of applicants who are very junior or about to graduate and may not necessarily be eligible to work for these internship programs. Therefore, we really want to target that middle student range, so the second and third year students. And finally, some of the candidates don't necessarily have the best understanding of the job description that's being provided. So we believe that providing them with a very strong recognition of what the job entails earlier on is really going to help in terms of productivity for your organization.
So taking a look at the external side of your business, what are some things that you need to be watching out for per se? So right now you're a competitive university recruiting campaign. Now what that means is there's a lot of different types of businesses and infrastructures that are looking for students at the same age from different things. So the banking world, the retail world. This has a little bit of a pull at your applicant pool, but that's something we're going to work around moving forward. Now as well, there's some competitive nature within the retail business with the Walmarts, the you as the target that are coming in. So there's a little bit of an imbalance, and what we'd like to focus is a way to diversify your products through these excellent candidates that you're going to be able to pull in, but just something to consider. And finally, the retail image. So we know that you've had some problems with people coming into your business who haven't necessarily been so pleased in finding out that it's not the corporate side, but we don't think that's a bad thing. We think that's a strength, and we're going to push that forward to you moving forward. Now, where can we grow? What are the amazing opportunities you as a business have moving forward? The first is that large applicant pool that we said was potentially a threat, but we can work around to your advantage. There are tens of thousands of students in Eastern Canada alone that you can work with and pull students from. As well, retention possibilities. So finding ways to bring back the same candidate pools will push forward and provide HR returns through costing adjustments from bringing in the same people who know your culture. And finally, the rapid Canadian expansion. So as your business continues to be successful, pushing forward and grows worldwide, or Canada-wide, pardon me, you have the opportunity to continue your development and expansion within these practices and strategies that we're going to be providing to you today. So the key takeaway from all of this that my colleagues and I have pushed forward to you today is that through leveraging the company's strong brand reputation, Target has the opportunity to hire the best of the best candidates moving forward, and to fill their executive team leader positions to successfully continue moving forward throughout Canada. So I'll pass this back off to my colleague Brooke for the consolidation.
Maintenant que nous avons fait une analyse de la situation, nous allons vous introduire à notre stratégie que nous avons développée spécialement pour vous. Donc nous voulons, avec notre stratégie, pouvoir mettre de l'emphase sur l'engagement au milieu universitaire. Donc nous voulons vraiment quelque chose de dynamique, une sélection et intégration qui fonctionne à votre avantage, et aussi une rétention et stabilité. Je vais maintenant passer la parole à Megan qui va continuer avec la stratégie en anglais.
All right, so taking a better, more detailed look at our strategy, starting with the campus engagement. This is key to recruiting the best students and really getting them involved and getting your brand out there. The first step that we've taken here, we'd like to take a bit of a unique turn on this because as you're aware, a lot of companies are on campuses trying to promote themselves. So we want to take a unique approach for Target, starting with a charity game incentive. As you know, Target does have great social responsibility, therefore this is really where we're going to emphasize this by having perhaps a wheel of fortune that you spin around. Whatever it lands on, that student will be able to donate a particular set amount of money towards a charity of their choice from Target. This is a great opportunity because it's really going to leverage your use of corporate social responsibility and really help students be more attentive to Target and knowing that they are integrating into these programs, which is really great for your image. Next, we like to focus on health and wellness programs. As a lot of us know, university campuses are very high-stress environments, so being able to promote that we're able to recognize this is really going to help promote your brand. So the little Target dog Bullseye is really going to come into play here. By bringing him onto some campuses as a therapy dog, this is really going to promote your brand and really help the students to see that you recognize that, you know, sometimes they need a little bit of a break, they need to relax, and having these therapy dogs on campus throughout various locations is really going to help to promote your brand and give something unique for the students to take a look at. And finally, in terms of partnerships, we would like to see Target focus on developing certain partnerships with career centers to perhaps be able to expand your programming to including a more of a 12-week internship as opposed to the 10-week internship to meet their requirements. Furthermore, underneath partnerships, we'd like to see you maybe being on campuses more than just at career fairs and just showing up randomly during high peak times and promoting your brand when students least expect it, but are way more likely to come and see you. Moving forward into selection and integration, once you have all of this attention, you're going to have a lot of students coming towards you. Therefore, it is important to select the right ones and integrate them well within the organization. This starts with realistic job previews. If students know what they're getting themselves into, they're going to be much more likely to succeed within the organization. One means of doing this is having real employees who have worked for Target in the past, who have filled the roles perhaps in previous summers, come on campus and speak to students one-on-one. Students really appreciate this because it gives them a more interactive feel of what the job is really about and really shows them that someone has done it and they really, really enjoyed it, so they can do it too. Next, we're going to take a look at uniform onboarding. According to Forbes magazines, new hires who undergo uniform onboarding are 70% more likely to stay within an organization after 3 years. And this is huge, and we really want to see this for your company. Therefore, ensuring that there is training that is done uniformly all across the region and that everyone is being hired within the same means is really critical here to ensure that it is a fair selection process and that everything is running smoothly across the nation as a whole. Finally, the last point that we'd like to bring to your attention that we're super excited about is the regional tuition awards. You are going to be having a number of executive leaders working within your stores. Therefore, you want to give them some incentive to do really well during the summer. And what we propose here is having an award regionally for the top student who performs really well in their internship and paying for their tuition that year. This is going to bring in the best candidates, and they're going to perform at their top availability all throughout the summer for your organization. Now, in terms of retention and stability, according to the American Management Association, retention costs are very, very expensive, and turnover costs can range anywhere from 30 to 150% of the initial cost to hire an employee. This is very critical to keep in mind, and we don't want to have to be making these unnecessary expenses. Therefore, retention is key. So this is where continuous growth opportunities come in, where you really want to retain these employees and help them grow within the organization. So you can have some external training programs, perhaps leadership seminars for your employees, where they can continue to grow personally and within the organization as well. Furthermore, we'd like to bring to your attention compensation programs, because since your employees are working so hard, you really want to be able to recognize this. So having Employee of the Month programs, where employees are given awards every single month within each store for how they perform within the organization, this will really help them feel good about themselves. It's a small step for the company, but huge for these particular employees, because it's really going to ensure that they stay within the company in the long run when they know that their hard work is recognized. Another point here is to have a yearly gala where top employees are taken from each region, they're brought into the gala and they're given awards and a nice chance to bond with employees from all across their region, and it really gives them something to look forward to. And on the note of having something to look forward to, another great idea that we'd like to present to you are the Target Games. Similar to the Olympic Games, but better. They run every 2 years, and essentially how it works, it runs across all of Canada, and you have all of the participating Target employees coming forward, and they all participate in a variety of games that can include who can check out the fastest, you can integrate some sports activities into it as well, and a variety of other fun activities to have all these employees competing against each other. But the key takeaway here is that this is going to help with retention, because this gives them something to look forward to in a 2-year mark. They're training towards it. It gives them a reason to really want to stay within the organization and go to these activities.
Moving forward with the implementation. So now that we've introduced you to our strategy, how are we going to put this into effect? So we're going to divide it into 3 phases. The first being the draw phase that spans from 0 to 2 months, the aim phase from 3 to 5 months, and finally the shoot phase from 6 months onward. So for the draw phase, we're going to take a look at campus engagement. So really that first-person experience with the students. So we really want to see you have a campus recruitment task force. So these are people that represent your values. So they're self-confident, they're creative, and they're very dynamic. And we really want to have these people representing your company at these universities, because they're the most representative of your brand. So we want to begin planning the keynote activities. So those are the activities such as the bullseye appearance on campus during exams to relieve students from stress, or the charity Wheel of Fortune. So we really want to have you planning these events well in advance in order to capitalize on the possible return from these events. Also, you want to network to create new partnerships. So this could be with universities, as it could be with charities. Really just establishing that connection with more than one institution in order to maximize your potential return. In the aim phase, you want to host these keynote activities. So you want to make sure that you're going out to the university campuses and delivering these activities. But you also want to gather and utilize feedback from students. So maybe pull students aside, have an iPad, and ask them to fill out a quick survey of how they liked your activity and if they have any recommendations. This is a good way to keep your activities relevant, as well as making them really cater to the students within that region. Also, you want to enrich students' experience by leveraging social media. So you want to make sure that these events don't just happen on campus and have word of mouth. You want to have these events really advertised to campuses across the nation and even across the world. In the shoot phase, you want to continue these campus initiatives. They're too great to just keep within a 6-month period. We really want to see these turn over and continue to grow for your organization. Also, you want to seek to expand these events to really have even greater campus involvement. So maybe sponsor certain things on campus or have more pop-up spontaneous events. In terms of your selection and integration, so for the immediate phase, so the job phase from 0 to 2 months, you really want to continue your status quo while you're planning these other events. So you want to have your recruitment continuing while you're selecting the executive team leaders that are going to be representing what it is. So they're going to be giving realistic job previews to incoming students. So really just having them give them their experience. We also want to see this reflected on your website using testimonial videos. Also, you want to utilize job analysis in order to determine if any changes are necessary to be made to your job description, just to make sure that everything's clear. So you're going to continue by creating a uniform onboarding program. So this is what Nagar was speaking to earlier. And also, you want to send these executive team leaders to all of your events in order to really have that face of the organization. And once again, you're going to gather feedback. In terms of the shoot phase, you really want to keep continuously improving these programs. In terms of retention and stability, we really want you to track the progress of your students that are incoming for either the co-op placements or the new recent graduates. And you want to figure out the key motivational factors that are going to motivate these employees moving forward. Furthermore, you're going to implement these changes in order to motivate these people based on their generation. So they're younger, so they're more inclined to be motivated by certain things than others. And in terms of the shoot, we're going to continue to improve this over time in order to cater to the new generations that are coming in. I'll now pass it on to Emily for the evaluation.
So this is my favorite part. This is when I get to talk about how we get to see when you are successful. So we'll start with key performance indicators, that being a 10% increase in applicants per job cycle, as well as 75% of applicants being successfully moved through the hiring process, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're hired, but that they understand the job preview, especially, and they move through the entire thing the way that they would normally. And finally, a 10% increase in returning team leaders. Now what this means is that people are coming into your business and they want to come back. So let's take a look at the budget that we've proposed for everything that we've shown to you today. Now, taking a look at all of the things that my colleagues and I have discussed through the campus engagement, the selection and integration, and finally the retention and stability, our budget is around $450,000 per se. Now, this is a bit of an arbitrary budget. It's something we can work with, given the things that you would like to focus on more specifically. What this does mean is approximately an investment of $22,000 to $23,000 per store in Eastern Canada. Now, we've taken a look at a sensitivity analysis to understand what would happen in the low, moderate, or high season given these changes that we are identifying for you today, with an increased sales revenue of $1, $2, and $3 million. Now, what we'd like to push this forward to is a return on investment. How are you going to make money in this case? What we'd like to focus on today is even in just the moderate case, the most baseline of cases, your return on investment is still going to be approximately 87%, which is phenomenal. And this is not based on your normal sales, your sales revenue. This is just on the revenue that's going to come from these amazing initiatives that we're pushing forward to today. So what we'd like to focus on is the fact that you are very well positioned with a high level of prospective success from this initiative.
All right, now with every great strategy, there are always some risks that have to be kept in mind. These are a few that we've come up with, but we have mitigated all of them. The first is that perhaps you're not necessarily able to fill all 30 to 50 positions in time by June 2015. However, this is mitigated by the fact that we have proposed some very strong incentives that are going to really increase your application pool. We believe that with our strategy, you're going to have so many people applying for these jobs, you won't even know who is the best to hire. Next, in terms of risk, there might be a lack of returning employees coming back after their internship is complete. But to mitigate this, we have developed a strong sense of corporate commitment for these employees. So when they come to work for Target, they can see that their hard work is recognized and they're going to want to come back once they're done school. And finally, perhaps on campus, you won't be able to attract the strong attention from all the students as much as we would like to. However, this also is mitigated by the fact that we are implementing a lot of creative incentives to have students be more engaged on campus, things that we've never seen before by other companies. Therefore, we believe that this is really going to work well for you. So today, we have presented to you an ideal strategy to ensure that you are able to hire the best new candidates for 2015. By following our strategy, we are determined and certain that you will be able to hit the bullseye in 2015. Thank you very much.
The question that I had for you was concerning your plan. So I like the creative ideas, is very marketing forward, and it would be a good way to attract external talent. But what about the internal talent? So the 70% piece I saw you covered, what about the 30% that we kind of hired within? Do you have any plans to promote?
Absolutely. So in terms of the compensation plans that we have presented to you, this is also going to apply to a lot of the internal talent that you already have working within the stores. We think that it's crucial that the 70% is well integrated with the 30% who are already there, and we believe that this is really going to touch on ensuring that both sides are very happy and that the company is able to do really well moving forward.
And towards the end, I was just curious to know how you came up with the numbers of like increased 10% in applications per job cycle. Just out of curiosity, how did you come up with that goal?
So that was just a baseline number that we were confident that we could work within. So we're actually perceiving that that could go with a little bit above. That's within industry standard of where you'd like to see your continued growth moving forward. So it's just at a very, very baseline of our confidence interval with what we think you can do moving forward.
Perfect. And just to clarify for your draw, aim, shoot strategy, so that's a 6-month plus strategy, right? So immediately, I think you said just to continue doing the events that we're doing right now. Was there anything else that you would say needs immediate attention to attract, let's say, the interns versus the full-times? Because I think you said we'll speak to the career centers to get it to 12 weeks, but is there anything else, since we do need these 30 people by June, that we can do other than these creative ideas that we can launch later on?
Definitely. You could definitely use your social media to kind of start snowballing towards these events, so promoting them, and even just using your current involvement on campus, events like JDC, to really reach out to these students. I think that in the immediate term would be a good starting point while you're planning these other events.
And then I guess my other question was just, again, related to budget, because I saw there were a lot of cool and creative events in there, and also giving tuition to a student for a year if they were a top performer. So we did 10 interns last year. Is this something you would say we would do continually? And were those the slides at the end, kind of how much you expected it would cost?
Yes, would you like me to go back to that slide so you can take a look at it again?
Or you can just elaborate on it, just
Absolutely.
to like roughly how much is this going to cost?
So with your co-op cycles, with the interns coming in, you said you had about 10. I can absolutely push that into the budget. Now I was working with just a general baseline of numbers, so that's why I was saying that it was an approximate number and I could readjust it accordingly. Now the tuition, we assumed that given your 35 co-op students that were coming from the 30 to 50 students you wanted to bring in, or these graduates you wanted to bring in, about 1 in 5 would get their tuition fee covered, about $6,000 of tuition fee paid. We didn't work with the existing co-op budget because we know that's something that's already worked into your pre-existing budget to date, but I'm happy to work with that if those numbers were provided to me.
No, those were my main questions.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.